Another tough week. We've got a competition winner and we've got some questions from subscribers that maybe you lot can help them out on as well. Hi everybody, it's Dave here. Hope you've got your competition entries in because at the end of this video, because you won't see this till Sunday, we'll be doing the draw, and then obviously I'll make arrangements to send out the goods to everybody. It's been a bit of a disappointing week again this week. Very difficult to get the money. At the time of me filming this, it's lunchtime Friday, and I'm still looking for another £200 to make my target for the week. So it has been very challenging indeed. Time of the year I know, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. And again, a warning to those of you who think you're going to jump on to the Courier Exchange and earn lots of money, because you're not. You make a living, and at this time of year it's difficult to make that living. It gets very challenging indeed. Now what I've got here is a comment from someone that I've received earlier on today, and I thought it was an interesting comment and it was worth talking about because a few people have contacted me about this. And the comment is from Van Roman, who has contributed before, and I'm going to read this out to you now. You being an ADR driver, is it really worth the expense of doing this on the CX for maybe 2 or 3 jobs a week? You already have your license and ADR kit. If you're starting from scratch, it's expensive, not only to get your license, if you pass it, at least £600, and the kit another £500 and more, then the additional van insurance on top of your normal van insurance. And also your goods in transit insurance company may also need to be informed, which would also increase your premiums. I had no idea how much these would cost, but it isn't going to be cheap. So in my opinion, unless you have a regular contract runs for a shipper, then forget it. What's your opinion on this, and will you be renewing your ADR licenses and insurance for the limited amount of ADR work on this CX and fighting against numpties that will do it for next to nothing? Okay, Van Roman, I do not know your name, but that is a very valid point. And it's come to light even more recently because a couple of friends of mine, one who you saw in the last video, which is James of James Hargreaves Freight, and another chap called Lee, have both been looking to get ADR insurance. Lee hasn't yet taken his ADR course, but wanted to find out how much the insurance was before he committed to it, and has had some nasty surprises. And James has passed, got his license, and he's hoping to change his insurance over. He's currently with Business Choice Direct, and so far they haven't got back to him with a price, which is ridiculous considering they're supposed to be an insurance broker and supposed to know these things. He's also been shopping around, and at the moment, I think he'll get it quite a bit lower than this, but at the moment his cheapest price was £7,000 per annum. So as you can see, it's expensive. I personally believe he'll get it down to about 4,000, but still, £4,000 per annum is a lot for your vehicle insurance. Now, if you've not got your license, just like the contributor said, £500 to £600 to do your basic course. That doesn't include the explosives and the radioactives. I haven't done that. I didn't feel that I ever wanted to carry those things. And then you've got to buy all the necessary equipment you need, your fire extinguishers, your ADR kit, your wheel chocks, your spill kits, everything else that you need to have to transport hazardous goods. You can probably put another £600 on that. So you've got a big layout, and yes, you're quite correct. The amount of ADR work available on the CX is very small percentage. I don't know. I would say that on the whole, I might do 2 ADR jobs a week via the CX. Sometimes I've had a run where I've had a lot of ADR work, and of course it depends on how much work the shippers get. I was getting quite a lot of work from a regular shipper near me, but I know that their customer has cut down on their same day work, so therefore they haven't got as much work to put out on the CX, because again, companies are facing cutbacks themselves. So if same day deliveries are expensive, that's one of the things that they're going to cut back on, isn't it? So yeah, 2 jobs a week, maybe 3, and yes, you get an enhanced rate, but at the moment, at this time of year, I am finding that if I price at my regular ADR rate, which is around £2 a mile, I'm not getting the work. I'm not getting the work at all, unless it's like a really minimum distance where I have a minimum price of £100 and I tend to get them. But anything of a significant distance, no, not getting it. I have put probably 6-7 quotes in the last few days. I've not had one. That means that somebody is underquoting me. And even I thought, right, I'm going to try a quote at a lower price. I didn't want to do it, but I wanted to see what kind of price point are they going to accept my bid at. So I bid for a long wheelbase job at £1.60 a mile. I didn't get a sniff. Did not get a sniff, and it was near me as well. So that means people are bidding lower than that. Well, what's the point? You would probably ask yourself, what is the point of paying all that money out to take your ADR test, buy all the kit, pay the extra for the insurance, and then just get rates barely above what you're going to get for a long wheelbase van anyway? And in truth, the answer is no, there probably isn't a point in that. The difference for me was that I already had my ADR license. I managed at the time to secure what I thought was competitive insurance. It was £2,900, including breakdown cover, and that was with the hazardous goods included. However, the underwriters have informed me that they're no longer going to be in the market to do ADR insurance anymore. They're not taking any new business on, and they will only offer me a renewal based on non-ADR. So I would be in the position, if I'm going to carry on taking ADR work, that I'll have to shop around, and probably it might even nudge up towards the £4,000 a year mark for me. So £1,100 more than last year, and I haven't had a claim. Again, it's just more expense. So how can I cut my ADR price down? I need to get that money back somehow. So yes, ideally, you do need to have some of your own customers, of which I have been trying to work on, but it's a very, very competitive market out there. All of the people who require goods transporting under ADR regulations have already got transport companies working for them. So the only way I would stand a chance of getting that business is by undercutting them, hoping that they're happy with my service, and maybe trying to drift my prices back up. Is that possible? I have emailed lots of companies with all my details offering my services. Had a couple of minor bites, had a bit of a meeting with one of them, but it turns out that I couldn't help them anyway, because a lot of the stuff that they do, it gets shipped overseas and they're looking for continental work from it. I've not got an operator's license, and I don't want to go down that road anyway. I'm a little one-man band, which may change soon, because there might be a collaboration on the ADR with someone else, so that we can present a united front and obviously make ourselves into a better bet for someone, because we've got more than one vehicle. But on the whole, it's difficult to get your own customers. I'm not going to stop trying, and this year the idea is to try and get some, but with that comes commitment, and commitment is not the reason why I'm in this game. So what I do find is that before, when I was getting ADR work, they could make the difference between a good week and a bad week when I was getting around £2 a mile. But now I don't seem to be succeeding in bidding at those amounts. well, certainly at the moment, no, I would say don't bother. Don't bother getting your ADR license. Don't bother going through all the trouble that James's got trying to find insurance, and then all the expenses had buying all the kit to get 1 or 2 jobs a week on the CX if you're lucky, and not even getting the appropriate price for it. It probably isn't worth it. So there you go, Mr. Van Roaming. I wish I knew your first name, but I don't. That is the answer to what you've said. If I'm going to carry on in June onwards when my insurance expires, I really should be in the position where I perhaps got a regular customer or shipper who gives me regular work at the rate that I need. Otherwise, will it be worth me paying all the enhanced charges that I pay? And you've also got the hassle as well that when you're carrying hazardous goods and you're displaying your symbols, your orange symbols that go on the front and the back of the van, you do leave yourself open to getting pulled more often. Now, it's not a problem in so much as that I'm perfectly legal. I have all the necessary insurance. The goods in transit cover, by the way, wasn't all that much more expensive, just as a matter of interest. But there is a strong stipulation about securing loads and everything like that on it. So whoever gets them straps, make sure you use them if you're ADR trained. But no, I'm going to think about it myself, because I don't get enough work to pay any more than I'm paying now. Certainly, if I'm going to get a reduced rate, I'm not going to put myself at risk for a reduced rate. I'd sooner just say, right, sack it. I'll just concentrate on doing your standard long wheelbase work. But at the end of the day, working on the CX is never going to give you great rates, is it? The idea for most people to join the CX is as a start. I'd always say it's worth it for someone who hasn't got any work of their own at all to use as a foot step into the industry. But then you need to build up your contacts, you need to network as much as you can, and then hopefully only using the CX to supplement the work you get yourself. Backloads, etc. Certainly when it's busier than it is now. I mean, this week I have had too many dead miles. I have had decent jobs to places, but then struggled to get work back, and I've had to swallow dead miles, which eats into your profits. Yesterday was the exception. I had a lucky day yesterday, which was I didn't start until late because it took me till 10 o'clock to get a job, but then I got a job to Northampton, and I got Northampton to Birmingham, and I got Birmingham to Manchester. Didn't get back till 7:30, but with practically 0 wasted miles and a good day's takings yesterday. But alas, it's not the norm at this present time. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that anyone else who is curious about going for ADR, be very, very careful. You pay out a lot of money to get it, and at the moment, it seems to me that not just shippers, but customers, they want you to give it away, but you are putting yourself at risk anyway. You're carrying goods that are potentially dangerous. They come under the ADR regulations for a reason, because they have danger attached to them. Yet, if they expect you to run it for like you're running your normal van rates, then it's just not worth it. Let them have the problem. I still believe firmly that a lot of stuff is going out that under the radar. It's not being marked up as ADR. I firmly believe that. And then one of these days, someone is going to pick that up inadvertently and get themselves in a load of trouble. But you did make a good point there, pal. And that's why I felt it was good to read it out on here, to raise that issue. Obviously, I'm looking at the moment from it's being very quiet. But even when it's at its peak, probably the most I've ever done in a week was 5 ADR jobs. And not all of them were like distance where you generate a good income. I've had the odd 1 or 2 where I've had a wonderful day. I've had an ADR job to Southampton, and I picked one up back from Portsmouth in one day. Really, really good money. But it's rare. It's like hen's teeth. It's extremely rare. And does it happen often enough to justify the increased costs? Possibly not. It's something that I've got to look at myself about potentially trying to find customers of my own, but that's down to me. But then I've still got that thing inside of me. I want to be independent. I want to be not committed to anything. So then getting your own customers means you've got a lot more responsibility. So it's something I'm going to be thinking about come June as well. I'll have a look to see what the insurance premiums are. I think if it goes over $3.5 grand, I don't think I'll bother. I think I'll just delete it, the ADR cover, and just stick to normal goods, normal hire and reward insurance or light haulage insurance without that cover on it, and just not bother going for ADR work at all. If I stumble on a customer I own that I can get regular work from, I can always do it afterwards. Something I'll think about anyway, but a point well raised, sir, and thank you for your contribution. Hi everyone, it's Saturday night. I think I've still got a bit of a meal left on my mouth there, but never mind. And we're in the dining room at Anvil HQ. And what a response to the draw that we've had. So much so that I've just spent half an hour writing out the entries that I've received so far. And I'm not going to close it till tomorrow. So tomorrow is when I'm going to close it off. So if you've not entered already, you've got till tonight, but you won't see this till tomorrow anyway. But look at this. I've just wrote all the names of the entries so far that we've received on all these post-it notes. And as you can see, I'm not counting them, but there's a lot. In fact, I went into my third pad because you can see that it changed colour there. Now all of these are going to be screwed up and entered into a hat, a bag, or some other receptacle that's suitable. And we're going to do the draw, and then I'm going to send the winners the 4 smaller straps and the 1 wider strap. And congratulations to them when it's done. So I'll wait until tomorrow to see if any more come in, and then we'll do the draw and give the result. But thank you for the response. It's absolutely amazing. Look at all that lot. My fingers are killing me. I know there's probably an easy way of doing this, but I'm old school, so I had to do it that way, didn't I? Right, they've all been bagged, ready for tomorrow. Any late ones that come in, I'll add. And I'll do the draw tomorrow. But since I was looking at my phone, and since I've got a little bit of time on my hands, I'm going to answer another question that I got in the comments, because I think some of the questions that come in are worthy of being answered on here, so it's useful for everybody. And sometimes people can then contribute as well as my answer, because my answer might not be all that comprehensive, and other people might add to it. And this question came in on Friday from Aaron Postlethwaite. And basically what he's put, he's not on the CX, he's going to be joining soon, he hopes. And he wanted to ask about co-loading, because he lives in Barrow. And Barrow, as we know, whilst it's a big town, it's quite isolated, isn't it? So there's not a massive amount of work in the surrounding areas of Barrow. And he wanted to know, co-loading, is it allowed on the CX? Well, co-loading is allowed, provided you get the permission from the shippers who post the jobs. And by that, you'd have to have the permission of both of the shippers in this case. So, for example, you're in Barrow and there's 2 jobs that are going to Manchester. And from 2 different shippers, you could bid on both of those jobs, maybe a little lower than the prices for someone doing it as one job, and ask them, say, I've give you this price based on the fact that I intend to co-load, if that's acceptable to you. And the same with the other job. But you need their permission first. Now, I know there are some unscrupulous drivers on here who don't get permission and will co-load anyway. The trouble with that is that, both of them might be urgent and one of them is going to be late. And if you've got your tracker on, they can see that you're deviating from your course. So whilst it's a good idea where you are, it's not necessarily the right thing to do, because if you're caught, you run the risk of negative feedback and possibly coming off the CX. And when you first start, you really need to be on the CX because you've got no work of your own. What I would say in your case is that I think it's really important that you get to know all of the shippers who work in your area and introduce yourself to them, because they'll probably be interested in a local driver and your availability and the rates that you charge, make it known to them. And they might then, once they know you, be perfectly happy for you to co-load once they've established that you're very reliable. But it is more difficult in a more remote area. I'm lucky, I live in Greater Manchester. There's lots of work and lots of areas that surround me that are busy. I mean, I live in the Oldham part of Greater Manchester, but you've got Rochdale, Bolton, Bury, Manchester itself. I mean, I'm only a stone's throw away from West Yorkshire. It's only 35, 40 minutes to Liverpool. So I'm surrounded by areas that have plenty of work. So I'm lucky. For someone like you in an area where it's less busy and there's not much else around you, I think it's more important. Yes, you can use the CX to get work, because obviously when you pick up a job from Barrow and go somewhere else, you'll be using the CX to try and get something heading back your way, not necessarily to Barrow, but maybe to Lancaster, the Lakes, something like that. Maybe even Manchester if you take a job down south and then it's a trip up to Barrow after that. But I think it's really important that you get to know all of the shippers that work in your area, because there won't be as many as there are where I live, and they would probably welcome a good, reliable driver to, you know, add on to their list of approved subcontractors. So that's what I do, living in an area like yours, because to get that first job out to a busier area is important, and there might not be all that much coming out of Barrow in the first place. So getting in with the shippers who've already established themselves in that area, get out at maybe a slightly favourable rate to get yourself to somewhere like Manchester where you can command a better price for a job. Anyway, that's what I would suggest. Anyone else got any ideas? Then please put your details in the comments. And I noticed that you've entered in the draw as well, Aaron, so good luck to you, mate. It'll look funny if I pull you out now, won't it?
Morning everyone, it is Sunday, it is the day of the draw. And although you find me driving through the mean streets of Manchester, this is Newton Heath for those who are interested. I'm not working, although I am working unpaid, if that makes sense, because my son, who's with me here now, say hello. Hello. There he is. He's moving with his girlfriend to a new house in February, and people have kindly offered to give them, you know, donations to get them started. A city here, a chest of drawers there, all that kind of thing. And we're going to go and pick up some items from a friend's house in Disley. So we're heading that way now, and I'm afraid it's going to be a bit of manual labour. I hope you enjoy the new split camera that I got the idea from Toby from Firkin Freight. See, if I don't give him credit, he sulks, you know what I mean? So it is his idea, but it's pretty tricky, isn't it? You can see where I'm driving and at the same time see my ugly face. So we're heading there, we're going to do that. When we get back later on, I will do the draw. I'm just giving a chance for a few more last minute entrants to come in, and then I'm going to close it off. A few came in last night. I'll add them to the ones I've already shown you previously, and we'll do the draw and announce the winner. So you may have been wondering, did I make the target this week? Because earlier on in the video I said I needed another £200 because it had been a disappointing week. It's the same for a lot of people, not just for me. And the answer is yes, we made our target. A last minute rescue Got a job on Friday early afternoon, and that job saved the day. In fact, it was a good paid job, close to £300. So not only did we make our target, we had a little surplus as well, but there was dead miles home, and I didn't get home till late on Friday. But you've got to do these things, haven't you, to make your money at this time of year. It's never normally that difficult. But I'm pleased to say we made the target, but there is absolutely no denying it is evil out there. It's difficult to get the work, and people are bidding low because they're panicking. So they're bidding, in my opinion, stupidly low, really. There is work out there, and there is work you can chase, but, you know, a heck of a lot of unsuccessful bids. But I'm confident things will pick up as time moves along, and whereas we won't be on easy street because you've always got to work hard in this job, no one gives you anything. It might not be as much pressure on getting the work stroke money. So anyway, that's that. I want to thank you for all the views you've got and all the subscriptions I've got at the moment. We have moved on, and I'm grateful, and if you can like the videos, that does help. If any of those questions that were put earlier on, any of you've got any comments on them or anything that will help those two gentlemen, please put it in the comments section. I like the channel to be interactive, and again, if you have any questions for me, put it in the comment section as well, because I might not answer immediately because I'm working, but I will answer you. And some of the questions, if I think it warrants a bigger audience, I'll put it on the channel like I did with those two. So the next time you see my ugly boat race will be the draw, if there's anything left of me after humping this furniture around.
Right, everyone, I'm sorry for giggling, but my missus is stood opposite me and she's making me laugh. But she's here to make sure of fair play. Isn't that right, Karen? Hello. Right. As promised, we're going to have the draw now. I'll put all the late entries that came in today into this plastic bag because that's the only thing I have big enough to put everything in. And to make sure everything's fair, as you can see, all the names are in there, scrunched up. Give it a good shake, and we're going to reach in and we're going to find the one we've got. Is that right, Karen, at random? Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Confirmed. And the winner is CW Logistics. So well done. Thank you for entering. I'm going to need your details so that I can send these to you. Congratulations and well done. Thanks everybody for taking part. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing, and keep doing it. And hopefully, you never know, we might even have some more giveaways if I can persuade some other people to give us some freebies, but don't hold your breath. Thanks for Mrs. Taylor for making sure that it was, she won't let me film her by the way, that it was all legitimate. And CW Logistics, you need to contact me, which you can do either through the website or put a message on the comments page on here, and we will get this sent to you. Thank you very much. So a big thank you to the ratchetshop.com for providing those freebies to enable us to give out. If you weren't successful, these are worth having anyway. So ratchetshop.com if you want to order some for yourself. And mention Anvil Logistics when you do it. You never know, it might persuade them to send us some more. Fingers crossed. Give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and CW Logistics, the winner, get in touch and I'll get these to you. We can arrange something. I'll either post them, or if you don't live too far from me, I'll deliver them. But one other way, we'll get them to you. All right, you take it easy, everybody. And thanks for taking part. Thanks for watching. And remember, comment in the box if you got anything about those questions that came in earlier before. Help those guys out with their questions. All comments are welcome. Thanks a lot.